Ahoy, mateys! Welcome to this week's episode of Fraternal Fanatics.
Are you ready to walk the plank?
Oh, we are in a pirate's mood today.
Yeah, it's a pirate's life for us.
We're sailing to the Caribbean. Caribbean? How do you pronounce
Pirates
that?
of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean? Pirates of the Caribbean?
No,
No.
wrong.
Caribbean?
Caribbean, for sure.
The beautiful, beautiful Caribbean. What, picturesque these movies, eh?
Yeah.
Makes you want to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Grab a drink, kick back, soak in the sun.
The ultimate, shot on location movie. You're just in the Caribbean, the Bahamas for, months at a time, cruising around.
Exactly, must be nice. And they were committed to, shooting a lot of it on location, too, right? Instead of on sets. Not that they couldn't do... not that they didn't have to do things, obviously, on a controlled set, but...
Yeah.
Lots
the
of
cave
explosions going on. The
Cave in the first one.
Oh,
Build out an
man.
entire fucking cave.
Unbelievable. I was watching some of the behind-the-scenes footage for Curse of the Black Pearl. And, I was watching them, working on that set. And a lot of it is styrofoam and stuff. But it's incredible how much work went into building that thing.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And they'd have to be doing it so fast, too. The turnaround on this kind of stuff is not... You don't have a long time to work on this kind of shit.
No.
Yeah, no, it is a... I feel like these movies are definitely a testament to many hands make light work. It would have taken an unbelievable number of people, group of people to make these things happen.
Yeah, it reminds me early Avengers movies or something, right? Just the sheer scope of people needed to get this film done.
Yeah.
Or these films. Because we're looking at these as a trilogy, kind of, right? That's...
Yeah,
what we've settled with. There's a lot of movies, but...
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of movies in the series that aren't really maybe should be in the series.
Yeah, definitely debatable. So let's just pretend
it's just the three.
Those ones don't exist for the sake of this podcast, at least.
There we go. But yeah, very hugely influential movies, not just for us. I mean, we are definitely in that age range of we were prime candidates for this kind of stuff. But
yeah, we would have been target audience.
Yeah. But, such an iconic movie, the score, the effects that just haven't been topped since this movie came out.
Casting, the writing, the pacing too of the plot, the acting, of course.
Yeah.
It's funny how all of that came out of what was initially just a theme park ride at Disney.
What?
Yeah, this whole movie came to be, Pirates of the Caribbean came to be out of a theme park ride, an amusement park ride.
The ride wasn't inspired by the movie. The movie was inspired by the ride.
The ride came first. Okay. Weirdly enough, I was reading. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't clue into this back then. But yeah, they had the inaugural, the big premiere and stuff, red carpet premiere at the theme park, where the ride was.
Right.
And it was a big they built a big pirate ship. And the screen was sort of centered in the middle of it. It was fucking sick. Yeah, it was super cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, to make that type of movie that is, we just had, a whale of a time watching it, hell of a lot of fun going through the three of them at least. And how that came to be out of, basically
just
nothing.
A roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we soak some more money out of these guys? They loved our coaster, but how do we put asses in seats?
Yeah. Well, they did anyway.
They did indeed.
They certainly did.
That's the thing. Yeah, they had a good recipe here, I guess. Well, I don't know if they did. How they seem to kind of revamp the pirate genre. Were pirates cool before Pirates of the Caribbean?
I am not old enough to know what was cool for Pirates of the Caribbean.
I just feel like I'm trying to remember like what, like Peter Pan, like Hook. Not that like that wasn't its own thing.
Yeah.
But it was super like campy and like kind of like
It's
not cool.
A pirate thing either. It's more of like a fantasy,
like Broadway kind of like
yeah,
musical pirate or something. Yeah, I don't think pirates were like cool until this, really.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Like Jack Sparrow paved the way for pirates being cool. I mean,
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow. Well, it's funny too. I was reading that in the initial stages of like the development of the script and stuff for this, Jack wasn't even meant to be like a main character. He was only ever supposed to be a secondary character. It was really like Will and Elizabeth driving the plot.
Right.
Which it still is when you look at Curse of the Black Pearl. But Jack, like, you know, Johnny Depp just took that character to another level, I guess, and made it like the main character.
The man, yeah. Yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah. Good Spy Kids
That's funny because,
yeah,
it is very much the opposite then of the intention. I mean, like you're alluding to, it's a Jack Sparrow movie with a little love story sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah. Do you think that's a result of the character, though, or just of Johnny Depp taking it way further than anybody expected him to? You know what I mean? Like, is it the writing of the character that's just so compelling that whoever had have been Jack Sparrow would have created the same effect that it kind of overshadows this love story? Or do you think it's just Johnny Depp has such a presence that he just took everything?
I think the latter. I think Johnny Depp took it and ran with it, and like I think maybe that like Jack's part wasn't, maybe the writing process hadn't even gotten to the point where they'd fleshed that out yet. So Jack wasn't even, he was a minimalist character, like he was part of the crew, maybe adding some weird quippiness like he does, but not really having the larger role that he did have. So I think Johnny came in, probably blew them out of the water with what this character could be and expanded the vision, and they're like, okay, let's write him in as a bigger part, arguably the main character. Not even arguably, really, though, right?
No,
like
he's the main character. Yeah.
It's not Will, but yeah, it grew out of Will being the main character. Jack is unbelievably awesome. What would you say? Like, his entrances are probably like the coolest character entrances out there.
Top tier. The way this guy enters a room makes everybody look. It is unreal.
Seriously.
But yeah, like the intro to the first movie is a shining example. Just cruising in off that ship, I shouldn't even say ship, that boat sinking, and right up to the dock, takes that last step on. It's fucking
like perfect timing.
Yeah.
And acts as if he's planned it all. Like, this is just another day
just
in
how
the
it
life
worked
of
out.
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
And then doesn't he find like a coin purse or something right after that?
Well, it's the guy. The guy is giving him shit for like, hey, you can't park your boat here or whatever. And he's like, yeah, no worries. And then he throws him like $1 or something, goes around the corner, and then takes the guy he just paid, takes his wad of cash or pouch of coins or whatever.
The perfect representation of his character.
Spend money to make money.
Exactly. No, we do learn a lot about him in those first, 3 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And his sort of like legend as a pirate and stuff like that.
Yeah. And non-verbally, too, for the most part. Like, all just through actions and observing what he does.
Yeah. Again, testament to Johnny Depp's acting ability.
Mm-hmm.
To convey all that information without ever saying a word.
Mm-hmm.
Black Pearl is probably the best, but Dead Man's Chest was pretty sweet, too.
Yeah, it is a pretty sweet one, too, when they got him, toss him out in the coffin and he blows through it with his pistol and starts paddling over to the Black Pearl. Gibbs is waiting for him and all the guys.
Pretty badass, yeah.
Doesn't
he say like, you won't be needing this or something to the skeleton.
Yeah,
that
he's
rips
using
the
his
arm
leg
off
or
of.
something.
Or he asks him, like, is it okay if we go this way?
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a big, like, that says a lot about Gibbs, too, and the rest of the crew there. The loyalty of sticking around, waiting for him.
Which is, do you think that's misplaced loyalty, sort of, just because Jack's such a, like, wild card?
Probably. I mean, there is, like, they've committed mutiny upon Jack twice so far, but to be fair, I think it's clear that was Barbossa's doing for the most part, but I don't know. I think you probably see as much as like you said, a wild card that Jack Sparrow is. You're still making money. Like, you're still reaping the rewards of this guy's crazy antics.
True, and I mean, at this point, at the end of the third movie, they've come up against some real shit and survived to tell the tale. Davy Jones, the Kraken.
Yeah.
Fucking Beckett's 128 cannon ship. What else we got?
War Machine.
What were the ships in the first movie called? The British ships. It was like the HMS Interceptor.
Oh yeah, I think that is
and
right.
the Dauntless. That was like the fast one, I think.
No, the Interceptor was the fast one.
Oh yeah,
the Dauntless was like the big powerhouse.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I had forgotten that. Was nicely done.
They were stuck in big twined balls and had to climb up the side of a cliff in Dead Man's Chest on Cannibal Island there. Those guys have been through the ringer.
Through the shit.
So yeah, I guess that shit probably bonds people too.
Yeah, I mean, when you're hanging over it, when you're in a cage made of bones hanging 500 feet over a cliff, which somehow Jack Sparrow can just survive a fall from.
Sure, yeah, there was some sort of inexplicable, as good as these movies are, as this trilogy is, there was a few like inexplicable moments where it sort of pulls you out of the ride for a second.
Yeah, because it does feel so real. Like, it's, as much as it's like mystical and fantasy, like the real world aspects, the rules of nature, like, are sound.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, like, especially so in Curse of the Black Pearl. Yeah. Like, it treads that line more carefully than the next two.
Yeah, but then Jack Sparrow falls off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, Jack Sparrow has a incredible amount of plot armor in Dead Man's Chest. For sure. I mean, and in Outworld's End. It's less... I like his, like, the legend of Jack Sparrow more in the first one, because there's... You know, the whole thing with him being marooned on the island. And we learn that, like, through Gibbs, there's the story that's been passed around turtles. That... Yeah, he harnessed some sea turtles with some hair from his back and made it off. And that's, like... You know, as a viewer, you're like, okay, well, that's ridiculous. Yeah. But, like, he's here. Like, he got off somehow, a desert island. So you're sort of, like, trying to conjure up reasons after that for how he could have done that. And then the movie takes you to a place where the truth is revealed that he's, you know, lucky and opportunistic. And he used, you know, the slave traders that came to this island to smuggle rum. He climbed aboard their ship, and like he was just okay with people telling the tale about him. Yeah, like I like that kind of thing, because it is steeped so much in reality, and then all you're left with in terms of the mystical nature is like the curse of a pirate gold, but that's like
a given.
Yeah, like, and it's not... Yeah, it's sort of like Goonies-esque, right? Like, it's not like, I can accept that for what it is, right? Like, this legendary gold that has, you know, some conflict associated with it from the Aztecs, and it's been cursed because... Yeah, it's not as mystical as when we start getting into Davy Jones and the Fishman and, like...
Well, and even that is still done pretty... Like, I know we're keeping this to the trilogy, but, like, in the later ones is where it really starts to get off the rails with like the like you've no longer the trying to there's no more like grounding yourself with this is just like some fantasy elements taking place in the real world. It's just purely a fantasy world now.
Yeah, they went off the deep end.
Nicely
Get it?
done. Nicely done.
No, yeah, I think that really helped, right? This trilogy, and especially the first one, was just treading that line carefully. To add on to that, too, and sort of to call back to our plot hole or inconsistency with the Aztec gold and that curse being lifted at the end of Curse of the Black Pearl, we know that the monkey has, continued through the 3 films and likely continues after. I can't really remember.
I think so, yeah.
But I'm a little confused about how his curse works, because shouldn't he be, like, not undead anymore? Does the curse just work differently on animals? Is that...
I think it's a special monkey curse where there's no undoing it. That monkey is just undead.
Permanently
forever.
Undead.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, like, that's not that doesn't even matter. As like, I shouldn't even call that a plot hole, right? It has nothing to do with the plot. Well, I mean, messes with the curse, the logic of the curse slightly, but it's an easy hand wave, so
yeah,
it's not something that like detracts from my enjoyment.
Yeah, I mean, in the same vein, the less easy hand wave is that at the end of the first movie, Jack shoots Barbossa in the chest. Will returns the gold to the chest. Oh, that's funny. And somehow Barbossa still dies, but doesn't die, actually. But somehow him getting shot in the chest before the curse is lifted kills him when the curse is lifted.
Is it like maybe the timing of like it being dropped into the chest, the bullet was flying through him, and then his skin repopulated and it got like embedded and then the bleeding started?
I mean,
I
think bullets move pretty fast.
Not these old-timey 1600
these
pistols.
Musket balls or,
Yeah, shot from a blunderbuss I don't think is coming at you too quick, but it's like Righetti's eye coming out of Jack's gun.
I think it'd do some damage.
Probably could, actually. Maybe more damage than Gibbs's flask. Remember that sequence when they were like loading up everything in the cannons to shoot at Davy Jones?
Forks and knives and
whatever. Gibbs takes the last swig of whatever's in there and they pop it in, and that's the reason for Jack's escape from the cell he's held captive in at the time.
Yeah. Blew the door off that thing.
Yeah. And then returning.
Good man, yeah. Always gotta get his property back to him. Gibbs can't go without that thing.
That's an awesome sequence, like just in terms of like filmmaking and like just those little added extra details. I don't know, just help cement the beauty that is these movies.
And funny that like Gibbs is so possessive of Jack having his hat all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's the most important thing. Every time Jack loses his hat, it's priority 1 for Gibbs is get that hat back.
Sure.
So it's nice to see that Jack returns the favor with the flask. And
God forbid Gibbs is without his flask. Yeah. And I mean the wider like ongoing joke about the rum, right? Like, where's the rum?
Where's the rum gone? Hide the rum.
We're out of rum.
Yeah. That is kind of the Gibbs being so possessive of his flask and Jack his hat and stuff. It is an interesting little character note, just that like these pirates are at sea for most of their lives, pretty much all of it. So they'd only have so many possessions. Like, you'd want to hold on to your... Gibbs probably had that flask since he was fucking 10 years old or something.
That's a good point, yeah.
Jack, same with his hat. Jack probably had that since he was coming out of the womb.
Just probably came out of the womb with a sword, too. But yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, there'd be a whole lot more sentimental value wrapped up in those few possessions that hopefully you've been able to hang on to through your travels, especially these guys.
When they're getting blown out of cannons, yeah.
I love the conversations between Gibbs and Jack, too. Just the, it's so confusing, but meant to be confusing, the dialogue. They're getting, stumbling. Or I am trying to remember, verbatim what they say, but it's too hard to remember the exact quote. But I think you know what I mean. Where they're getting all turned around in this back and forth, and it's like a circular argument. They end up in, a circular argument. It's too funny.
Yeah, it is quite the relationship. They really sell that relationship as one that's been around forever.
Yeah, I think they go back.
Jack has known Gibbs for all or most of his life, probably.
Well, but it begs the question: when did Gibbs kind of have conflicting thoughts about? Because when Curse of the Black Pearl opens, he's on the ship when Elizabeth. And the crew of the ship, when Elizabeth as a kid recovers Will's kid body from the water. Like, Gibbs is in the opening shot of that movie, so he's like a, privateer or something for the British Navy.
Right.
Or a deckhand or whatever he is. But then the next we see him, he's, sleeping with the pigs in the mud pile in Tortuga. And then, willing and able to join a pirate crew. So it's just I wonder when that shift happened or when he started running into Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why he was so this drunkard. Whenever we pick up with him later, he's already had a run-in with Jack and he liked his style, and then they parted ways or whatever, but he's just waiting for his opportunity in Tortuga when Jack comes back. And calls him up to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Unbelievable foreshadowing in this movie too. Just in terms of audience payoffs and dialogue that doesn't ever feel wasted because they're always referencing something that kind of comes up later, has a payoff later. It's just so satisfying, and there doesn't feel like there's any wasted moments or scenes because it's build up or pretext to something else.
Yeah, it feels like the movies were all made with the next one in mind. Not in a sense that it's, hanging on the second one like a Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. The first part really hangs on the second part. The movie is useless as by itself until you get to the second part and everything, comes together and whatever. But these ones, they didn't give me that sense that, the first movie requires the second one and the second requires the third. They're still a contained unit, but in making the first one through the writing process or through the production process, or earlier than that, I guess, but through the writing process, we got some more story to tell here. If we extend this out a little bit, we can do some more cool shit with this. And they kept that along.
Yeah.
Throughout the second and third one.
They
were intentional about, like you said, all the dialogue, every scene, every word is
they used what they had from before too, right? Bootstrap Bill being a huge part of the second movie after, they laid those pieces, they laid that foundation in Curse of the Black Pearl. like through Will. We never actually get to see Bootstrap, but we understand he looms large in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's use that character in the second one as this segue between these two camps.
Mm-hmm.
Him being the one that comes to warn Jack about Davy Jones.
Yeah,
So
it leads into Davy Jones.
Yeah. There's those bonds that have already been created, that familiarity, so that helps too. And those seeds have been planted, so it makes sense for them to just kind of like
pick up on that.
Yeah. Or Norrington too. Like, I thought James Norrington was a fucking awesome character.
Yeah.
Like, and he wasn't like, in terms of the first one too, like not being like super petty about everything that happened at the end. Like him accepting, after all that had happened at the end of Black Pearl, like Elizabeth's choice to like choose the life of a pirate, and like just wasn't gonna work between them. And like, he was a good, I liked him. He wasn't really an antagonist, right? Like, he was just caught up in it all a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, maybe it felt more that way in the second one, and going further on the foreshadowing bit, like his character, returning from the first one, being mentioned in the opening scene of Dead Man's Chest, I think, but we don't actually see him. And then we figure that's kind of going to be like, okay, he's mentioned because he played, a big part in the first, had a lot of screen time, but like, let's put that character to bed. And then he comes back in a very unexpected way.
Yeah.
A very cool, well-written, fun, new direction for this character, refreshing kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And then plays like a fucking huge part in the movie too.
Pivotal, especially for setting up the third one.
Yeah.
Pivotal role.
And badass, like having probably one of the most badass sword fight sequences of the trilogy, with the spinning wheel with Will and Jack fighting to like get the key back.
That's funny. I thought you meant the one in the bar there when he tries to join Jack's crew. That one's fucking sick
Bar
too.
one, that is an unreal scene, yeah. And he's involved in, obviously, the beach one where he ends up covertly stealing the heart and pocketing it. Yeah, like Norrington's character was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
in my opinion. He was a great like side, secondary, but ended up having real like implications to the plot.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like he was redeemed?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I love it. He was like not on like a Theon Greyjoy level.
Fucking Theon.
But he didn't have the same shit to come back from as Theon did. But no, I thought his like send off was awesome. Protecting Elizabeth from safety by cutting those cords on the ship when Bootstrap was out of his mind a little bit there.
Spitting in the face of Davy Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, not literally, but basically.
Proverbially, yeah. No, I thought that was an awesome send-off to his character, and I'm glad they killed him and gave him the opportunity to have that, like, send-off.
Yeah. Towards the beginning of each of these movies, there's, like, a new crew with Jack or on Black Pearl or something that just ends up dying so that the old cast members, the old crew, doesn't have to die. Like how it was in the when they were hanging in those baskets off the cliff there. There's two baskets. One of them has like all the characters we saw from the first one, and the other basket is just like a bunch of random people that showed up at the beginning of this movie.
They're just racing.
I wonder who's
each other.
Gonna die. Yeah, like it becomes pretty clear why there's two groups.
Sure, yeah, the stakes.
Group A and Group Z.
Sure. Yeah, no, there's the usual suspects that stick around for sure. The little guy, the parrot guy, who was Gibbs. But yeah, it was funny that the parrot guy like showed up in that prequel to Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah, that was
with
a cool little. That was a cool little scene or sequence that you showed me, that little extra.
Direct kind of lead into that movie.
Yeah. Into the first, right onto that shit, explains why the ship, or the boat rather, is sinking towards the dock there. And
Yeah, I got sabotaged.
yeah.
And I mean, I guess it explains why that character doesn't have a tongue and why Jack probably knows more information than he should, because presumably he's the one who told people about what had happened there that night, because everybody had sworn to secrecy, right?
Yeah.
And if you said anything, you get your tongue cut out. So he probably went and told Jack, and
Got chopped.
Away he went.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there a lot of kind of cut content from this trilogy that should have been added in there. There's that one deleted scene with that discussion between Jack and Beckett in
Lord Beckett
in the third one.
Yeah.
They're talking on the whatever that his big ship is called anyway in his office, and giving the backstory of how they met each other and how far back their history goes and all that. And it's amazing how that probably the most important scene of the franchise is just excluded from the movie.
To tie those two characters together, and yeah.
Like, it explains so well in such a short time why there's this massive disdain between them, and it's not just like a lack of respect for, like, on Beckett's part, it's not just a lack of respect for him being a pirate. It's like a very personal vendetta against someone who, like, kind of ruined his life a bit.
Yeah,
it's what it seems anyway.
And a divide of ethics too, right? Like, Jack is clearly values human life. Beckett, on the other hand, not so much.
No moral fiber, yeah.
So yeah, it speaks volumes to both those characters in
seconds.
What seemingly is a pretty short interaction. So
yeah,
I'm not sure why that was cut. There was a few quips in there too that were hilarious, as per usual with Jack, but
especially because it wasn't cut even necessarily. Like, there was a version of that scene that was just much less impactful than
redacted to something
that
really gave us nothing as to the history between Beckett and Jack, because we understand earlier in the movie that he's the one that gave Jack the brand, the P brand on his arm that we see way back in The Curse of the Black Pearl.
And he's responsible for Jack Sparrow's debt to Davy Jones by way of the Black Pearl, right? Like, it's the reason.
So he's the cohesive tissue between the second and the third movie, really, and
the first.
Like, when we meet him, he already has that brand. So
yeah,
I don't know. They seem, maybe there was a version of the movie where there was a more expanded, like, version of a relationship between Beckett and Jack, because it seems like Beckett was just reduced to, like, this guy, like you had said before, this guy was just kind of like trying to do his job for the East India Trading Company, albeit he was a piece of shit about it and a pompous little prick. But I think he was a little bit more multi-dimensional than that, in that at his core, like, his personal goals were more wrapped up in, like, the glitz and glam associated with the pirate life.
Right.
Like, I think at his core, he believed in all this pirate shit, and he was really just being driven by, like, wanting to get to that MacGuffin or treasure first.
Right.
Because I don't think, like, he already had control of Davy Jones and, had, like, an iron fist on the sea and stuff. So I'm not sure what more you could ask for at that point. Professionally, things should be going well, right?
Yeah.
It's just, like, Davy Jones is acting out and killing people and neglecting his duties and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like he didn't have much to gain personally, Beckett, from like taking out these pirates and shit. Like, it didn't seem like he had a, big promotion in the works if he could rid the Caribbean of all these pirates. Like, it seemed like he was just doing it because he hated Jack Sparrow.
But that's the thing, like, that gets muddled because, well, why does he hate Jack Sparrow so much? Like, that was never truly clear to me on the watch, but with the deleted scene and the, like, inkling at their history together, if you could have expanded on that, wrote his part in the movie in a different way, where the conversations had about Jack and with Jack are exposing their past as opposed to just like
talking about Davy Jones.
Yeah.
Like talking about the other threat.
Yeah.
That was basically their entire interactions were just about something else. About Davy Jones or about the fucking Calypso or whatever. It was like, yeah, they didn't talk about each other to each other at all, given that like there is so much lore and history with the two of them.
Yeah, he was definitely the least compelling like antagonist.
Yeah.
If Norrington was sort of the antagonist of the first, but I guess Barbossa was more so.
No,
I mean, Norrington was like the threat of the Navy, the British Navy.
Yeah.
Barbossa was more like the pirate threat, I guess. But yeah, I guess ranking the four of them, like, he's got to be at the bottom. Davy Jones was way more compelling too.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually, his story was quite tragic.
Davy
right?
Jones is like a top tier villain in cinema. Like, he's just one of the best.
Unbelievable performance by
That's
Bill
the
Nighy.
thing, yeah. Like, performs the intimidation of him aside from all the effects and CG and all that shit. Like, such an unbelievably chilling performance.
Yeah, the mannerisms and like the way at which he speaks. It's amazing how, well, credit to them for being able to capture those facial expressions and stuff, right? Like, that character just would not have worked with the amount of CGI. Like, being able to convey those emotions with just his eyes and his mouth. And I mean, like, eyebrows kind of, and like twitches of the face and stuff like that.
Without all the things that make a face.
Yeah. Like, we have to, because we look at his face and understand that this creature can't be real, but there is a real humanity about him that, like, you empathize with him, and even though he's this tentacled lobster clawed freak.
Yeah, it's funny how he doesn't stand out particularly like next to actual humans. You know what I mean? Like, when he's surrounded by actual people in a scene, it doesn't stand out that it's like this fucking squid man standing there. He just looks like a regular guy. I know that sounds a little strange. He's not. Doesn't look like a regular guy. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not. It doesn't stand out as like this big animated figure.
No, not like a Godzilla, King Kong. Yeah, he's personified in such a way that it's realistic or something, even though even his crew too, to an extent, right? Like, you know, there's guys with a hammerhead and the guy with a wheel, like a ship wheel, hanging out of him, and like, I don't know if it's just the way they played with shadows and stuff, but the CGI was outstanding. I mean, even now in 2025, like, it's amazing how they were able to do all that back then, especially given what we have now.
Yeah, such unbelievable work on that. Like, with the technology these days, I can't believe how much better that looks than stuff I've seen recently.
What is that? I was thinking more through the lens of Davy Jones too, like looking at him as a particularly good example of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being astounded at like how they were able to do that. But I just wonder what it is. I can't put my finger on what it is about why he's so good and dancing around, like keeping his face as much as possible, I guess, is the best answer. But they do that and knew it, like in Marvel stuff too, right? Like people's faces are still there and those expressions are still there.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, even more so because you can see their whole face.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the fact that Davy Jones, like, enough of his face is covered to make him unhuman-like, but those key characteristics of the human face that we're all familiar with and those emotions are kept intact, so we
can recognize it despite it not having all the features that we're looking for.
Yeah, like we don't look too hard at like why does She-Hulk look so like weird in that scene, or like her facial features seem like weirdly unhuman or something.
Yeah.
But you don't need to say that with Davy Jones because it's like, well, he's full of tentacles and he's like this squid man, but he's like human trapped in this curse. And
yeah.
But fuck, those tentacles, like each just kind of moving independently and the little suction cups like widening, and
yeah,
the textures on the tentacles, the rain and the sheen off of it. And yeah, Davy Jones, as a character was fucking unbelievable. I mean, I guess with the CGI thing too, it probably helped that he was like covered head to toe.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything of him showing beyond like...
Well, his claw and the peg leg, I guess, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, his jacket was so big and he's got a hat on his head all the time. Like, there's really nothing there to preserve that's human. Or that's the real him, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no feature left on him that is a human feature. One hand is like a tentacle squid, the other one's like a crab claw. He's got a peg leg and something else going on the other. Yeah, there's no human left.
Yeah. Which I do like that lore of Davy Jones's ship too, right? And their chant, like part of the ship, part of the crew or something?
Yeah.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Or part of the crew. It might be reversed. Part of the crew, part of the ship.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like that, and how Bootstrap is like becoming embedded into the hull, and the really old guy who's like barely even there, he's like fossilized into the ship.
Yeah. Well, and even like aside from obviously the Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman and the second movie was like a testament to CGI, but like we shouldn't blow past the Curse of the Black Pearl, like with Barbossa and the zombie pirates. I don't know what the best way. I guess that's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah.
But like that was unbelievably well done too.
Playing with the moonlight and stuff. Yeah, that was really impressive. I'm thinking specifically what always looms large in my memory is that shot of them walking underwater beneath the boat. Yeah. Again, a little foreshadowing when Jack and Will do it with the boat the little dinghy under the water to get some air, which I'm not sure
but logically checks out,
but sure. But that sick wide shot of them slow-mo like walking towards the camera with the bottom of the ship like at the surface of the water. Fuck.
And then they as they step out of the shadow, they start to change. And,
Yeah, underneath.
so you
the
have
shadow
the
of the
line
ship.
of, as they come forward, more of the guys go from regular humans to these CG models.
Badass.
So sick.
And like the design of them in terms of like individualizing them.
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
there was no copy and paste pirate in there.
It almost
they all
seems
had
like
unique features and
they probably wrote a
different
rich
parts
backstory
missing.
about where each of these guys came from, and the looks were amazing. The teeth, the prosthetic, the contacts, unbelievable. And like I love the way they use the moonlight too, both in terms of bathing them in moonlight and as a plot device in that final scene where Will and Elizabeth are kind of like using that to their advantage, the moonlight, to blow up those guys at the end with the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jack and Barbossa with their sword fight.
That's such a sick shot of when after Barbossa stabs Jack and he like steps back into the moonlight and reveals to be like that he's taken some of the gold and he's that was so sick.
That was awesome. Yeah, no, that unbelievable job, special effects. The third one, like, it didn't feel like it blew me away as much.
Like
I mean, Davy Jones is in that, and
it's just as good. Yeah,
yeah, it's just as good. It's just there's more memorable, like
the piano
prominent.
Like that is
Davy Jones
iconic.
Wailing on the piano with like the steam shooting out of the big organs and
that shot, that's never gonna be beat. That is just awesome. The score of that too. That as much as the music in the movie is so good, that scene specifically is just so gripping.
I was gonna say that's a great segue into another unbelievable, arguably best aspect of the trilogy in my eyes, or the series, is the score and the themes that are prevalent throughout. Jack's theme being most iconic.
Yeah.
And just like fires you up. It's so epic.
It is epic.
So great.
That's probably the best word to describe it by. Yeah, it's epic.
Like Top Gun is epic and revs you up. This is a similar way, right? Like it's just makes you want to set sail.
Yeah, you're ready to go on a journey.
Yeah. Yeah. But Davy Jones too. I love the Davy Jones appearance, or the first time we see him in the third one, emerge from the waters, like firing at ships and stuff, and the theme's playing. But before that, when we heard his theme playing, it had been very sentimental, because he's often like, it's playing whenever he's playing his music box and like, reminiscing about Calypso and the life he used to have and stuff. But they changed it for that scene to be much more epic and to match like a Jack's theme type of thing. And hearing it in that way was cool too. Yeah. But yeah, music is just unbelievable in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like shit I could listen to going for a skate or something, or a bike ride or something like that.
Yeah.
But I did want to touch on too, just before we get off the special effects, like aside from the CG, like the miniature work and stuff with that too. Like, oh my god, man, those ships, the amount of time it would have taken to design those and build those and destroy those.
And then for them to explode in magnificent fashion. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Super like impressive piece of cinematography, miniatures. Crazy thing to
be able to shoot it and make
then
it
scale it up in such a way. Yeah.
Like it's this giant ship that's, being battered by waves and sailing through a harsh rainstorm, and it's cool. And how they sequence in those shots with Well, I don't know exactly when they use the miniatures versus when they use shots of actual ships and stuff, but yeah, either way, like the combination of using both was genius on their part to use the miniatures when you need it for the big explosive moments and the wide sweeping shots of real ships. And yeah, it would have been hard to find like uncommercialized points to shoot at, though.
Yeah,
like without like a big hotel or something in the background, Trump Tower looking over.
Yeah, or maybe they did and they just paint those out.
Maybe.
But that is a good question. Yeah, there's not a lot of space to shoot that's not populated.
I mean, credit to sly shots, I guess, the right framing, and you can hide that kind of stuff if you need to. But yeah, I didn't find and pacing too was I didn't really have a problem with in the first two. The second one was maybe a little longer than the first, but I was with it. It maybe dragged the Cannibal Island stuff at the beginning was maybe dragged on a little bit for the sake of comedy, but there was,
some
that
moments.
The wheel sword fight was just enough there was some epicness in there and some awesome memorable sequences. But the third definitely started losing me a little bit.
Man, the third one's slow. Still a good movie, but goddamn is it slow.
Yeah, it just needed to pick up its feet, and I don't know, the first third of it just felt like it was
that movie
okay, let's get on with it.
Yeah, it could have been almost half as long. It was almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it didn't have 3 hours of content.
No. Yeah, it definitely could have helped to reduce it a little bit. Because I was flitting in and out of consciousness a little bit. And I felt like I didn't really lose anything.
Yeah, didn't miss much.
So yeah. But I mean, it's a small negative, I guess, and what was just an outstanding trilogy of movies.
Yeah. Is that one that's worth rebooting? Maybe.
No, just leave it to rest now. I mean, they already fucked it, right? Franchise is kind of done now. I don't know how you reboot without
just
the salty taste and
Jack Sparrow passing the torch, I guess.
Just don't force Jack Sparrow into
reprise his role and die and hand it off to someone else. Get Orlando Bloom to show up for a cameo and guide Jack's soul into do his job as the captain of the Flying Dutchman.
Well, I think, don't they touch on that, one of the new ones? I mean, I haven't seen all the newer ones, so.
Well, I don't think Orlando Bloom ever, we don't ever see him again.
I do know that Will and Elizabeth reprised their roles in one of them one last time, but it's some bullshit. It's why even have them? They're in it for so little amount of time, and the reason behind them being in the movie is just so dog shit that it's why even bring them back? But I think they do, sort of by extension, one of the movies has Will and Elizabeth's kid.
Right.
Carrying on the legacy. So it's sort of oh, well, they're in the movie through this kid. More memorable lines. Would you say Davy Jones or Captain Barbossa?
Probably, well, I think just Davy Jones is more memorable all around.
Even though Barbossa is a persisting thread through the three of them.
Yeah, Barbossa's just around.
I fucking love Barbossa.
Yeah, I mean he's okay.
Oh my
What do
god,
you- I-
his like Jeffrey Rush's line delivery is every time just like his tone and his intonation and his enthusiasm, and I love him. I think he's a great character too. He's like a Norrington, except obviously more
Evil.
prominent and
Oh,
evil. Yeah, for sure, more evil. But not evil too, right? Like he's sort of like Jack in that way. He's like kind of
Yeah, he knows what's morally right and wrong. Maybe it's a bit of a looser grip of morals than Jack, but
yeah. And
Yeah.
well, I mean, and even in the first one, like you can sympathize with his motivations too. He's just trying to like feel again. He's just trying to.
get his life back.
Yeah.
Back.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
really
true.
that. There's nothing to lose for him to succeed in his goal. Him and his crew are just trying to reclaim like their humanity, which is kind of inspiring in a way.
Yeah, good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
But no, yeah, Barbossa I think I just like his I mean the reveal that he's still alive at the end of as like the finisher for Dead Man's Chest was awesome, I thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just think he's like a true swashbuckler.
Top tier
Yeah.
character. Okay. Well, that's fine. I wouldn't have paid. Would you say Barbossa's your favorite character then throughout the trilogy?
He might be.
Damn. High praise for
Might
Captain
actually be.
Barbossa.
I know, but I got nothing bad to say about him, really. And again, like just his line deliveries. I'm just thinking of some of like in the first one, whenever I can't remember the exact quote, but Elizabeth is freaking out, and he's like, "You best start believing in nightmares, Miss Swan, because you're living in one."
Yeah, and that's when he
And then drinks like the bottle of rum, and it
And
like
it
falls
goes
out.
out. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Steps into the moonlight.
Yeah, that was fucking sick. Yeah, that was fucking
That one and his death scene, like when he realizes he's human again and he's experiencing death, and all he says is just, "I feel cold," and then dies. Like I don't know. That was chilling to me too.
Wow, but then he doesn't die.
I know, but that's the mysticalness that was rejuvenated more so in the second and third, like we were saying, right? Like
Yeah.
Curse of the Black Pearl, if you just look at it in isolation, he's dead. And the only mysticalness is the Curse of the Gold. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'm just glad. I think they felt like they needed to bring him back because he was just too iconic and gave too much to that role for them to just leave it at the first one.
Yeah, and like is very much an equal to Jack. He seems the only kind of character that
is on that level or something. Yeah. He's been through the shit like Jack has.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who would you say is your favorite character?
Oh,
if you had
Davy
to?
Jones.
Davy Jones?
Like, hands down.
Yeah, okay.
There's no question that he's like one of the coolest characters in cinema. Yeah, it's fucking sick.
Like, character design primarily, obviously.
Primarily, yeah. But like we touched on earlier, like performance-wise and fucking
he's so
intimidation and yeah.
Davy Jones. Do you fear death?
Yeah, no, he's fucking sick.
Yeah, Davy Jones is fucking badass. And that, like, I'm just thinking of the Kraken scenes, too. Like, those are awesome. Just, we didn't touch on that with the CGI.
Mm-hmm.
it just bringing down a ship, crippling it, and that sequence with Jack where at the end of Dead Man's Chest where he's left for dead and hello beastie, just like going at it with the sword. It gave me like a Harry Potter and the Basilisk kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, some truly badass moments in this franchise, or in these 3 films at least.
Mm-hmm. Well, which one was your favorite of the 3?
Out of the 3? I mean, it'd be not so much a toss-up between the first 2, but I can safely say like it'd be more of an argument between the first 2. I can say that the third wouldn't really be in that conversation for me. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but it just wasn't on the same level as the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just for my love for Barbossa and Norrington, like I've discussed here, I'd have to give the edge to, well, Norrington's. I like Norrington better in Dead Man's Chest maybe than I do but I only like him more in that movie because of what happened with him in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think Black Pearl, just as like, because if you watch that just alone, and if that was the only movie in the series, that's a damn good movie. Revitalized what pirates were, and like that they could be cool, and you know, the themes like we talked about, the iconic theme, great use of both practical set and CGI magic, the miniatures, Barbossa for me, obviously. Yeah, I think I'd have to go with Black Pearl.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, I respect that. I mean, like you said, between the first and the second, you really are starting to split hairs. It's clear that the third one isn't as good, but yeah, I definitely agree and disagree with you, I guess, because I do think Dead Man's Chest is
superior.
Maybe not superior, but I enjoyed it more.
Right, like your personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, like it'd be easy to make a case for either one, but I think I would make the case for Dead Man's Chest. And for the reasons we said, like Davy Jones is so fucking sick, and the piano, him playing the organ and playing dice with Will and Boots are out there, a fucking awesome scene. Yeah. And the effects and stuff too, like that's when it really started to, like the Flying Dutchman is such a crazy, well put together ship. Every fucking square inch of that thing is, you know, animated and drawn with the
so
utmost
detailed
and,
too, like with all the like kelp and like crustaceans lining it. And I thought the Black Pearl was cool, but goddamn, Flying Dutchman probably has to be the coolest ship.
Yeah, every detail is precise on that thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'd say the Dead Man's Chest for sure. And just like the converging stories of that one too, like did such a good job of having all these different motivations for the same goal.
Yeah, true. Everyone was kind of vying for the same thing for different reasons.
Yeah. Whereas in the third one, it's like everybody's kind of doing this all for the same reason. Like it's much more of a team effort in this one, which is cool, but like less interesting, I guess.
The second one did that better, I think. And like I'm just thinking to that scene on the fight sequence on Cannibal Island that spills out onto the beach where the heart is taken and stuff. Yeah, like that's a physical representation of like they're literally all trying to get at this key or the chest for their own reasons and their own motivations. Yeah, they're like fighting over it in these creative ways, and these zany things are happening. It's catapulting all over the place, and yeah. I mean, we didn't even talk about the humor in these movies, too. Like, not that there's a whole lot to say. It's just had me cracking up a lot. But I think a lot has to go to Johnny Depp, too. Just his portrayal of Jack is great to kind of break up these high stakes, intense moments with some humor. There was some moments, I can't point particularly to specifics, but there was some moments where I felt like it was maybe a little heavy-handed in terms of humor, or some jokes that fell flat. But I mean, that's probably more like personal preference anyways. Some jokes are going to land with some people, some aren't. But I just thought like maybe the frequency or the volume of humor at some moments, I was like, okay, I could do without that one.
Yeah.
Or like too many in close succession after another. Like Let It Breathe, or let the one before that breathe a little bit.
I'm not gonna laugh at fucking 5 things in a row.
Yeah.
It's like just
bombarding me with.
Yeah. But I found they moved on pretty quick despite that. From a huge standpoint.
No.
Like if it didn't land, it didn't really
detract.
No, you could just move on from it. It wasn't like that something was so poorly delivered that like it takes you out of it and like makes you cringe for the next 5 minutes or whatever, like really detracts from the movie. I didn't find that.
No. And in fact, a lot of it was like, maybe I'm talking more so about the humor that was a little bit like stupid, like bang your head type of humor, but there was a lot of subtle dialogue based humor. Like it just, the way it was written, I mean, both spoke to how the characters would speak, but there was a lot of like humor in the conversations too. Which speaks to the writing. So yeah, it had both the physical humor obviously and like the well-crafted humorous exposition and dialogue and But yeah, physical comedy was big for sure in these movies.
Yeah,
led by Johnny Depp.
Yeah, his run and facial expressions and
and just like remember when he has Davy Jones's, he has the jar of dirt and he thinks the heart's inside and he like trips over himself down onto the deck
because he's like dancing around. I got a bucket of dirt. I got a bucket of dirt. Yeah, that's good.
All right, now comes the hard part of throwing these suckers in the tier list.
I think for these ones, we're going to be looking at them as a whole unit. The 3 of them as a trilogy. I know in the past we've done some individual movies from franchise properties, but in this
like
case
Harry
we're
Potter.
like Harry Potter. But in this case we'll go with just the first 3, the trilogy as a whole, and we're not gonna touch the other 2 with a 10-foot pole.
I don't think we're going anywhere near those.
Avoid those ones like the plague.
That's right. Okay, yeah, as a unit. Okay, did you have like maybe I'll let you lead. I think you were more confident with your placement in the tier list.
Sure. Yeah, I think that did seem to be the case. I'll start off by saying there's a clear loser when looking at these movies as a trilogy. I mean, the third one at World's End is clearly the worst of the 3.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there for sure, off the hop.
Yeah, so certainly as we are looking at this as a whole, that's going to bring the score down a little bit.
Naturally.
The first Pirates is an absolute masterpiece. Unbelievable piece of cinema.
Yeah, like just a wild ride and so rewatchable. Like I could watch that, once a year and be happy with it. Be happy that I went back to it and can enjoy the like funny, witty dialogue again, the insanely amazing set pieces with the ships and just like the comedic timing of it too. The action sequences, sword fights, obviously. Casting, top notch.
Not even just with like Jack and Will and Elizabeth too, but like Gibbs and like the accessory characters are perfectly
Yeah, the
cast.
ensemble is just everyone has their
part
their
to play.
place. Yeah, no, it's incredible. And the score obviously is one of the most iconic scores in cinema, in my opinion. So yeah, that just adds to the whole like ambiance and flair and lore of the movies, and just the fact that it grew out of what was a theme park ride and became what it was.
Iconic.
Is pretty incredible, yeah.
And Dead Man's Chest, the second movie, follows that up supremely. Davy Jones, The Flying Dutchman.
It's a perfect sequel because it like carries over plot lines from the first.
Mm-hmm.
There are questions that we have from the first still remaining that are like tended to in the second one, as a good sequel should do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that carry over, the consequences or the implications of the first film have to carry over in some way, shape, or form to the second one for it to have any weight, you know? So I thought it did that really well too, instead of just like, this is a cash cow now, let's milk it, put a sequel out there as fast as we can, doesn't matter, like the story's bastardized, like they took care with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
brought it up a notch, would you say? Like,
oh, absolutely,
in terms of certain aspects, Davy Jones being the biggest one, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, as this started, at World's End, the third movie, not even close. So
yeah, like immediately almost, you just get that sense from it, eh? Like, or at least through the first third of the film, it's just like not.
It's not the same feel. Yeah, I'm not getting the same.
It's just like a tag on to this one. Feels more like what I was saying, with a bit of like the cash cow, like let's
just
get
make a buck. Yeah,
an end to this story. There was some carryover, right? So I can like give it some credit.
And there was some great set pieces and action sequences, and again, like the score remains and stuff through this. So like some good aspects to it, some great aspects to it for sure, but just not up to snuff, not up to par with the other two.
It almost felt like a part 2 to Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah.
Like a Deathly Hallows part 1 and 2.
Yeah, not a part 3 to the series, but a part 2 to the second installment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then the other ones are just completely lost the plot.
Yeah, like I don't know what direction they were headed in, and I don't really have any interest in like reviewing those movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it almost like, to me, almost taints these first 3 a little bit.
For sure.
Just knowing where they went afterwards.
Which brings me to my tier list.
Mm-hmm.
That was exactly my philosophy with thinking up my placement.
Okay.
If these movies were just the first Curse of the Black Pearl and Dead Man's Chest, these would be in greatest films of all time. This would be at the top of greatest films of all time.
Okay, just to give listeners a rundown, so that would be superseding Into the Spider-Verse, Good Will Hunting, Jurassic Park, the first one from 93, The Shining, and The White Lotus season 1.
Yeah, maybe like contending with Into the Spider-Verse, but
okay,
that's the only place where that gets a little tricky. But like we've discussed, the tainted nature of the trilogy because of the third one brings me down to outstanding.
Okay.
And I still would probably say
that anchor, the ship anchor on Outworld's End is just bringing it down.
It's got the mark of the Kraken on it. Yeah. Davy Jones is coming.
Do you fear death?
But yeah, I would say it's probably in towards the top of outstanding, which again, for context, in outstanding is Austin Powers and then Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I would probably put it at the top of there, honestly, for the 3. I mean, Austin Powers is like a fun movie, and it's a good, also a trilogy. Like, it's a good series of movies, but it doesn't have the same gravitas that Pirates does.
Yeah, no. Pirates is a league above Austin Powers for sure. I would agree with you that it's like belongs in outstanding because of the third film.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've agreed with everything you said. Because those first two films were just so good that like I'd put it above Good Will Hunting for sure. Again, maybe contending with Into the Spider-Verse, just given that was like such a novel thing. But I don't know, Pirates, it might have more nostalgia for me than Spider-Verse does, so I might even put it above Spider-Verse and Greatest of All Time based on the first two. But you're right, the third one just like things kind of fall apart a little bit, and because it's so closely interlinked with the second film and by extension the first film, it just feels like it's like leaves a sour taste in your mouth at the end of it all. So I think you've got it, you hit the nail on the head, like at the higher end of outstanding, or the highest end as we have so far with Austin Powers and Philosopher's Stone contending. I'd say it's easily the top of that list so far. Not to say that there couldn't be something that overtakes it in the future, but
it would have to
that's
be
a safe spot.
Damn good movie.
Yeah, like pretty friggin' iconic.
Because it's hard to put this series in outstanding as opposed to greatest film of all time. Like it's a difficult decision to make, to be like, because of that one stain, which like, mind you, it's like a 3-hour movie. It's a pretty big stain, but because of that one stain, you do just have to drop it down into a category that it really doesn't belong.
Yeah. I mean, still, like, it's still a damn good category to be in. And if we had have talked about the extension of the Pirates series and the ones that came after the third, like, this series as a whole would probably be dropping down the charts if you had to weigh in, like, the Salazar one, and I can't even remember the titles of the ones that came after At World's End, but you know what I mean. The ones where just the story went in a totally
different
direction. And tonally different direction, yeah.
There you have it, folks.
That's all she wrote.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Fraternal Fanatics.
We appreciate you mateys coming aboard. Now it's time to walk the plank. Move on to the next episode. See you next time, fanatics.